Now, this was up, of course, up. Like, people were talking about this. It's going to be discussed. It was on the docket, on the table, of course. But what do you make of what has happened?
Yeah, so Tom Pelissero is reporting right now that the hip drop tackle is going to be banned, which I don't love because the hip drop tackle wasn't a term that was used. It was kind of made up after we saw a couple of players got injured. I think it's the result. It's not a malicious play. It's the result of guys trying to tackle bigger players. And, you know, sometimes injuries come along with those. I'm all for making the game safer, but I think this is a really hard one to define. And the NFL's going down a little bit of a slippery slope with this one. There was an important distinction from Tom. It sounds like, at least in the early goings, it's going to be enforced more through fines than it is through flags, which makes it a little bit better because you don't want to see this call affecting games and affecting the outcomes of games.
So your beef in this is that it sort of seems like it's malicious. It seems like there's like an intent connected to it. Or that
No, I'm saying there isn't an intent connected to those tackles. It's just, it's just guys trying to make a play.
No,
and,
I know, but
we saw like the Logan Wilson one.
The sort of the framing of it has been like, it's a malicious thing we have to like discuss and take away, when really, like, what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. And like the Logan Wilson play with Mark Andrews is the famous example everybody's going to point to. He's trying to stop him from scoring a touchdown. It's a play inside the 10-yard line. And, you know, it's unfortunate the way he ends up falling, but it's a hard thing for these defenders to try to control. They're already restricted so much in what they can do and how they can tackle. It's tough.
I just think it's too hard. You know, like, defenders have done a great job in, you know, having a target now. You know, they talk about that strike zone for DBs when they're coming in to make a play on a defenseless receiver. The hip drop tackle, I just think it's too hard in the heat of the moment to be like, oh no, I can't tackle that guy like this anymore. I think it's too hard to officiate. I think it's going to be one of those things like the year we had the pass interference being reviewed. I remember, like, we were playing a game in Green Bay that year. We scored a touchdown to Dalvin, and then all of a sudden it was a scoring play, so it was reviewed, and then they said Diggs had offensive pass interference, and he had absolutely nothing to do with the play. So to me, this like hip drop tackle seems like it's not black and white. There's this like fine area, and how do you officiate it? How do you fine it? So I think that's the biggest problem. Obviously, I understand why the NFL wants that tackle to be eliminated. And quite honestly, it's more just about, how about we go back to coaching fundamentals of tackling? Let's emphasize that as opposed to, you know, trying to find guys and eliminate a certain tackle because it's not safe. So I just think it's going to be really hard to police.
I think you should make sure when we get you this clip and that you send it to who, like, whatever, whether it's live action, whether it's because you just had such a darn good explanation of all of this, and it's live and it's on the spot, and this is in like breaking news right now, and you really addressed every part of it. And I'm like thinking of follows, and I'm like, I have no follow question for you. It's amazing. The only thing, like, I had not heard of the hip drop tackle until this year. Like, they just randomly decided to name it that. Had you ever heard of this before this year?
Yeah, and again, I think it's something that you see. It's more of like, I haven't seen it as like hip drop tackle, but you know that
what it
that
is.
hit, you know, you know the exact, and that, again, I just think it's going to be so hard to
police.
Like, how are you going to enforce it? Yeah, there's just, it's tough.
I don't know. Stay off Twitter.
The defensive guys, I'm glad I was on offense. They have it hard enough as it is. You know, obviously a lot of the rules are designed for us to score points. That's what fans want to see. You see all these quarterbacks, receivers, now the tight ends. Love seeing the tight ends making a bunch of money. They want those guys on the field. So they're going to do everything they can.
I love the compassion, the empathy you have for the defensive players. They have it so hard. We had it better as is. It's incredible. Speaking of money.